Colorful radio.
I'm joined in the studio with my lovely three guests. They are Michelle Lowe, who is an event planner, writer and woman of the world. Denise Harris-Heigho, who's a businesswoman, transformational coach, energy practitioner and nutritional therapist. And My Ly, who is a writer, marketer, international speaker, jewelry designer and TV extra. I don't know why it makes me want to do that bit, because it's like, wow, ladies, like it proves all morning I've been saying that no one is one thing. And you ladies, just by being here and me reading off your very short little descriptions of what you do, it proves that we are so much more. Hence the reason why today, in relation to the book that you co-authored, which we'll talk about in a minute, it's just about acknowledging that we are a treasure chest. We all have a treasure chest within us, filled with gems, and it's just about us acknowledging that. So thank you for just proving that. Actually, thank you for proving that. Now, ladies, I'll start with Michelle first. The question that I always ask everyone is, what or who do you appreciate today? And
Well, I appreciate being a woman in the 21st century in a first world country where we have the freedom to choose who we are and live the lives we want the way we want to live them. I think that's really fabulous.
Brilliant. Okay.
Yeah.
It's actually all of the other 103 co-authors who have contributed to the book. So it's been fantastic to actually gain some international friends and also network with other strong females around the world.
And Denise.
Hi Lisa, thank you for having us. I actually really appreciate my family, my friends, and that stranger on the street that gives you a smile.
Oh, it's the simple things, isn't it?
Yeah.
So this book that I'm talking about, which is called Chocolate Diamonds for the Woman's Soul. How did you guys get involved with it? Let me come to Denise first.
Okay, hi. Well, for me, it was my friend in America, Jumana. She was going to write the story in the book, and she said, and I'm gifting it to you too. And so I went, okay, thank you. So I really didn't have a choice. And so I'm really glad she did, because it was a wonderful opportunity for me to step out my comfort zone.
So you learned something from the book as well?
I learned a lot from the book, yes.
Oh, wow. Okay, This is interesting. Yeah. Okay, Maya, I'm going to ask you the same question. So how did you get involved with the book?
It's actually one of the UK co-authors, Gwen Cover. So she had actually been on a course with me, and she had told me the fact that she'd just finished writing her book, or her story for the book. And she said that there was actually 3 more last slots that they were looking for. And so writing's always been something that I've always been passionate about and wanted to do, and I've always wanted to write a book. So I thought, at this opportunity, why not? Let's give it a go.
Love it. And so you just basically took the opportunity.
I did, yeah.
Did you have any doubts?
No doubts as such. I think it was just more time pressures, because they were still looking for the last 3 authors, and the expiry date for obviously getting the submissions in was already gone. So it's much more about time pressures. So I furiously wrote across, on and off, 4 consecutive evenings.
Oh, wow.
And
Brilliant.
submitted about 2 a.m. in the morning.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. And Michelle, how did you get involved with the book?
Well, like my really close friend Gwen of many, many years, since I was 11. We've been friends for many years, and she knows that I love to write. So she sort of said, here's this opportunity, and I feel like she gifted me with this wonderful opportunity, not only to write, but to become friends with some wonderful women. So we've had a great experience amongst ourselves here in the UK.
Well, have you met any of the other women in the US yet?
I met one of the publishers at a conference earlier this summer, but other than that, no, we all are just sort of Facebook friends.
It'd be really nice at some point if you could just all get together, because I feel the sense of community and togetherness already just by you girls being in the room today. So it's lovely. Yeah. Now, writing is known to be therapeutic. What did you personally gain by reflecting and writing your story? Michelle, we'll start with you and we'll work back.
I mean, I think for me, I kind of had to relive the hurt of my experience, what I wrote about, which was, ending a marriage and finding myself. So it was quite cathartic though, but, it was tough to go through that writing process and reliving that experience. It was quite painful. But when you see it on paper, you're like, wow, this is me.
So did you find there was healing that came from it also? Or had you already done the work?
I think I'd already done the work. I think what really prompted me was that many women, when I told them that I'd left my husband, I expected them to sort of embrace me and feel sorry for me. But many women said, oh my God, how did you do that?
Wow.
Can you tell me how to do that? And I was a little horrified. I can't tell you how to leave your husband.
I'm seeing a book here. I'm seeing another book.
But yeah, so many women kept saying to me, wow, there's a great story there. I mean, you should share that at some point. And I just thought, well, who wants to hear my story? It's no different than hundreds and thousands of other women that have made that choice. But yeah, it was it wasn't painful afterwards because I'd already done it, but it was almost a sense of release. The last step of it just being
So it's almost closure.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. And what did you personally gain by reflecting and writing the story?
Well, it was a way of being able to explore my creativity, but also to push the boundaries of my imagination. I'd always wanted to write a book, and I think this short story is just that extra push for me to actually think about writing that novel. There's no excuses. I tested out the short story on a few friends, and the feedback was pretty much the same. They wanted to learn more about the short story, what the ins and outs were, what the details about it, what happened. So it's great to actually write a book that's based on fiction, but there are some real life experiences also thrown in.
I absolutely loved your story, and I was intrigued. I was like, no, but how? But what happens next? And when I was reading it, I was gaining this picture of what this house looked like, what this shed looked like. And guys at home, I just don't want to give too much information away because I do want you guys to go away and read the book, which is the reason why you're getting bits of the story. Yeah, that's the thought process behind it. But I'm doing it to help you, not to be cruel. But yeah, no, but I definitely liked your writing style, and there was definitely more that I wanted to find out. So you're definitely onto something.
Well, the inspiration behind the story of perhaps living in a shed actually came from the fact that I did nearly live in a shed.
Wow.
So I won't, again, give too much away.
That's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, very interesting. And Denise?
For me, on reflection, I realised that actually I could write because I had this huge fear of writing.
Oh, did you?
And yeah, I've written books that no one's seen at home and haven't published. And actually, I wrote this in 2 hours because I didn't have very much time to write it because I didn't know that I was in. I didn't get the confirmation that I was accepted, and I got the confirmation really late. And I think I had to submit it by the Friday. But the Thursday, I had to take my son up to Cambridge. So I got up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I didn't get back till late that evening. And I sat out in the garden by my oak tree.
Oh, that sounds, sorry, that picture alone. Hello, she's a writer. You're setting it up for me. You're already a writer.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it took me about an hour to write at the oak tree. And then I went up and I typed it up and I pressed the send button because I knew if I read it again, I probably wouldn't submit it. So I just went send. And yeah, I was surprised by the response.
See, that took courage because it's almost like knowing yourself and knowing what you're like. You could have potentially self-sabotaged yourself.
Oh, definitely.
So instead of, and knowing that, you went, nope, I'm just going to send it. It's good enough now. I'm not going to look at it again. Yeah. It's brilliant.
Yeah, so that's how. But reading between the lines of the story, I realised that actually I'm quite determined. When I writing it, I realised how determined and resilient I am.
Colorful radio.
So the next question is, did you learn anything new about yourself?
Yeah, I actually learnt that I can write, and people actually really liked my writing style because they thought that it was very honest and brave. And I think some people that know me didn't think that I would be so relaxed writing.
Really?
And so I found that quite surprising because I thought I was quite a relaxing person anyway.
So okay. Really? Yeah. So you were surprised when people said that they were surprised that your writing style was relaxed?
Yeah, because I think there's this perception of me that I like everything just so. And remember, I used to be a control freak. So there's this perception, oh gosh, her writing's probably going to be a certain way. And they were surprised.
Oh, that's lovely.
I have relaxed, right? I'm not such a control freak
You
anymore.
sound totally relaxed to me. No, that's a really nice thing to find out about yourself as well, but also to shock other people as well, because they had a preconceived idea about what your style would be before potentially even reading your work. And then when they've read it, they're like, oh, actually this just flows really well, it's relaxed, it's breezy, and I'm intrigued. So I think that's really nice. It's a two-way process, you know.
Yeah, most definitely.
Michelle,
I think what I sort of walked away with was that if I really listen to my intuition, it never lets me down. It never, I never have to look back over my shoulder. I know I've done the right thing. And so it just made me, it sort of reinforced, I guess, that when your intuition's singing, screaming at you, listen to it. Don't pretend like, oh, who's that person in the background annoying me? Really, really take that on board.
when we talk about intuition, I think everyone hears it and feels it in a different way. I'm just really intrigued. How do you hear your intuition?
I have a lot of energy feelings, so it'll be a feeling for me. It's not something that just pops up in my head. It's a feeling like, oh, this just doesn't feel right, or oh, something's not right with this situation, and that's how I hear it or feel it. Really, yeah.
You're clairaudient.
Yeah, a little
as well.
Oh, don't hide, Michelle. Don't hide. Yeah. No, I love that. Yeah, don't hide it. If you got it, you got it.
Screaming at me, so I think you might be clairaudient as well.
But it's also potentially that inner voice, because I think some people, when they hear the word clairvoyant, it's something that comes from outside of themselves within, but there's also the voice that is within that is speaking to you at the same time. So I think it can work on different directions. It's just about understanding how it speaks to you. You know,
it's from within.
It speaks from within
at all. Yeah.
And
I actually learnt that if I can write a short story across on and off over 4 consecutive evenings whilst I was ill, so I had a fever, I was falling asleep, I was sipping loads of honey and lemon, then I must be able to write a half decent story.
Can't wait. When you're not sick.
Yeah, exactly. So imagine when you're full 100. Capable, not tired, determined, passionate. You know, you've come from work, you're sitting down and you're just ready to go. What is going to come up?
It's a case of watch this space.
Oh my, I love it. I love it. I'm really definitely interested to see what else you come up with. Now, reading personal accounts of hope, perseverance and triumph is so important to keeping us going. What story, quote, kept you going in your moment or moments of despair and frustration? Let's start with Michelle.
I'm not sure if this actually answers it the way you may want it answered, but for me it was more about don't judge a man until you've walked a mile in his shoes. I think so often, and I think we sort of touched on this a little bit, you're busy looking at everybody else, making comments about what they're doing, what they shouldn't do. And, you know, until you've actually experienced some of those things, you don't get it. So, for example, even probably before I got married, I always thought I would never get divorced. I would never, who leaves their husband? You know, you take your vows and, you know, sort of this holier than thou approach. And then when I was in it and it was my story and I was walking in those shoes, I just sort of said, wow, yeah, be careful what you know. So that's it for me, yeah.
It's interesting. I think that's also another reminder about judgment, isn't it? It's like it's so easy, but when you're in that situation, that's when you feel it. And I think, you know, I do think sometimes the universe has a funny way of showing you a lesson. Absolutely. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, although that's a really difficult thing to actually acknowledge, whatever will help you develop and grow is whatever helps you develop and grow. It's a lesson, isn't it? So you can always take something from the lesson. So, thank you for sharing that. Yeah. And what story, quote, kept you going in your moment or moments of despair and frustration?
It's probably twofold in the sense that failure or giving up just isn't in me. It's not a trait that was given to me by my mum. You know, it wasn't something that you kind of go, oh, actually, I'll have to think about failing or giving up. It's not in me.
There's no option.
There's no option but to obviously be successful, jump over the hurdles and just get on with it. But the other one that I was thinking about was there's light at the end of the tunnel. It's a really simple quote, but actually it's just really effective.
I fully agree with you. Lovely. And Denise?
For me, it's definitely my mum saying all the time, anything's possible, you can do it. Anything's possible, you can do it. So no matter what was going on for me, that's all I ever heard from her. It's like, okay, how? Anything is possible, you can do it. So that definitely, those two definitely kept me going.
If you could whisper into the ear of your younger self, what would you say? Let's go with Denise.
If I could whisper, what would I say? Pretty much that everything happens for a reason, and definitely keep following your dreams. Yeah.
It's hard sometimes to actually take that on board and really hear it when you're in a position when you're in a position you don't really want to be in.
Yeah.
In that moment, to know it's happening for a reason, it can be quite difficult.
Yeah, everything happens for a reason, and also in perfect time.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, when there is a change needed, something happens that you then get this gut instinct feeling, and you know that's the next step to take, or your intuition, as you were saying, that listen to your intuition. But everything happens for a reason. But if you don't know what you want, then you're not going to get the life that you want. So if you're not listening to yourself.
Michelle?
I think for me, it would be enjoy the journey, don't worry about the destination.
Oh, I love that.
Really, just enjoy it and embrace it. So many of us get caught up with all the small things, and we miss all the important things that happen in our lives because we're focused on petty things, actually. And if we just embraced experiences as they come along, good or bad, you know, you walk away and say, I learned something from that, wasn't so great, or what a great experience, that's wonderful, and you learn something from that as well. I think if you just enjoyed it and embraced it, you know, life would be much sweeter and richer.
I agree. And Maya, what are your thoughts?
It's really to slow down, take a breather, and actually step back to appreciate all of your achievements, whether that's like the little tiny wins to the massive, huge gains. I think it's very easy to forget what actually you've accomplished across the months, weeks, years. And actually, it's just to take that step back and fully appreciate it.
Love it. You know, these are all really simple things, but for some reason, I mean, I personally believe that the only time you really get guided into thinking like that and to be asked these kind of questions is if you're in therapy. Really think about when you was back at school. Did you were you asked these kind of questions where you could self-reflect, where you could like really trust and learn to believe that your intuition is something you need to be paying attention to? You don't. And I think as we grow older, the things that we loved when we were younger, we kind of no longer do because we don't believe that your childhood loves should carry over to your adult loves and you can somehow incorporate it into your business and make money from it.
But in essence, the most successful people are, successful because they're still playing. They're still having fun.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And it's not just financial success, it's, it's success and the richness they feel within, the richness of their life because they are doing something they're really passionate about. They're having fun, so they're happy.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Yeah, if you build Lego as a child and you still want to build Lego, go for it.
Do you know what?
Architecture, isn't that what architecture's all about?
Yes. And earlier on I was talking about, because last week I was in Barcelona and I was telling Rashid, who you guys met, that I love doors. I didn't realise I love doors. Doors. Yeah. So the more ornate, the more kind of intricate they are, the more I will love them. And I didn't know that about myself. So sometimes as well, you have to kind of like go to another country, another place to actually be reminded. And to be honest, I shouldn't be as shocked as I am because I love art.
Okay. Yeah.
I love art, so it all taps into the same thing, and I do think life will show you signs all the time, and I do need to get my paintbrushes back out, and I do need to be painting again. So it's the nudges will come in all sorts of different ways. We just don't know how it's going to come, but as long as we use our intuition, as long as we're paying attention, the signs are there.
Yeah, I mean, you enjoy art. I mean, look at the colourful logo. Right?
I know, right?
Like you're doing, what you do for a living is art. So you are obviously following your passion.
Now, chocolate and diamonds. Okay, who would refuse? Who would refuse chocolate and diamonds? However, that is part of the book's title. chocolate diamonds for the women's soul. However, it does feed in, it's more than that. It's more than material. It's more than taking in something to make you feel good. It's actually acknowledging the true kind of general 360 scope, where it's about your inside and outside. So what effect would you like the book to have on people? Let's start with Michelle.
Well, I think that many of us go through adversity, and oftentimes when we go through those struggles, we feel like we're alone. And I think reading this book will let you know that there are at least 104 women that have gone through many variations and shades and colour of good and bad experiences, and that you're just not alone, you know, and no one person is an island. So, you know, problem shared is a problem halved. Have I got it right way around? Yeah. So, just to know that, you know, you're not out there alone, and there are other people who have probably had the same struggles, similar or sometimes worse, and you can rise above it. You can.
Lovely. And Mai?
It's really to touch each reader in a unique way, because every story is completely unique. The other thing is actually, although the title is Chocolate and Diamonds for a Woman's Soul, there are plenty of men who have actually read our stories and actually love them. So it's across all gender, across all ages, and across all types of different categories, and whatever you might like in terms of a reading style. There's one story in there to actually really touch your heart and want to read more. The other thing is that we'd actually like every reader to obviously enjoy the stories in the book and obviously recommend them, but actually it's really to inspire other people to write, just to write, just to get thoughts down on paper and actually just have their own short story within them to be, you know, released and also unleashed into the outer world.
Love it. Love it. Thank you. And Denise?
Well, you two covered quite a lot. So, well, actually, to feel empowered, definitely would like, you know, people to feel empowered, and any stories that they could replicate themselves, do what they love. Really important to do what they love, follow their dreams, and if, you know, share the stories with someone else. You know.
Reminded me that it's so important to self-reflect, to acknowledge how far you've come, where you've come from, how far you've come, see where you're at right now, and potentially visualize where you want to go to. And it's just so important. So that's what I got from just reading those 8 stories, which is fabulous. So thank you, ladies. Thank you. And just before we wrap up, I think it's really important to ask where can people find out more?
You can find out more through our Facebook and Twitter page. So it's C&D UK. And then you can also actually buy the book on Kindle Amazon at the moment. But the paperback's actually coming out on the 4th of October. So very exciting.
Yeah. Are you going to be having a launch or anything?
We are indeed,
yes. 14th of November.
Can I come?
Absolutely.
Most definitely. So if we can say save the date, 14th of November. We'll be having the launch party, and you'll find out details on our website.
Oh, I love it. Ladies, thank you so much for sharing your stories. There is something in there for everyone. You've been listening to me, Lisa Ben, on Colourful Radio. This show is called Self Central. The aim is to nudge you into being all that you are.
Thank you for coming into the green room. We hope you had a wonderful time listening. Got a special treat on this last one. Got my girlfriends to help me sing some positive words.